Welcome to Mile First, the podcast with certified master hypnotist, health, life, and breathwork coach, published author, Reiki master, and sound healing practitioner Linda Matthews. Experience her show as Linda brings you the deep healing magic, holistic tools, and resources to encourage balance, harmony, and creative flow in all aspects of your life. Focusing awareness on the big four: motivation, inspiration, love, and enlightenment. So now please welcome Linda Matthews.
Welcome, Mile Thrivers. How many of you are brave enough to be disliked? I know this is kind of a controversial question, but there is a bestseller out there which I think is really amazing. It is called The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro, Kishimi, and Fumitaka, Koga. And it is a pretty incredible book. And I'm always trying to bring new tools and new resources to you to help you through this journey called life. This is, I think, an excellent tool, and it is done in a story form. The book presents a dialogue between a philosopher and a young man. They are exploring the concepts of Alfred Adler's psychology. It encourages readers to find happiness by embracing the bravery or courage to be themselves, leading a very authentic life, free from the need for other people's approval. I think we spend way too much time in the course of our lifetimes seeking other people's approval. You know, two people matter the most: you and that which is greater. Those are the two people who matter the most. And I'm here to affirm you, help you, guide you in any way possible, and again, bring you these wonderful tools that can be helpful. So let's go into some of the key themes of the book. The first theme is freedom from approval. Yes, happiness does not depend on other people's opinions. If you think it depends on other people's opinions, you're missing out. You're shorting yourself, right? You deserve a lot better. The desire for approval can hinder our personal growth. It can lead to dissatisfaction. It can hinder any joy that we find in this lifetime. If we're so busy seeking this approval, we're losing out on so much joy. We're losing out on so much enhancement. We're not actually looking for the things that we want or the things that make us happy. I spent a lot of time in my life seeking approval, starting with my core family, worrying so much about being accepted for who I was, worrying if the things that I said would matter, if the accomplishments that I achieved would be good enough. So much so that this constant fear and seeking of approval encapsulated who I was. And that's a very dangerous thing. It's a fine line to walk, and it's a very dangerous way to live, because the second you feel anyone else's disapproval, it is deeply painful. This is what I'm trying to help you to recognize, if that is the path that you're on, or perhaps somebody you know is on that path and you would like to make their life a little brighter, a little happier, a little better, and a place that they can feel safe. So even just in understanding someone else's journey, you could create that safety for them. All right, next on our list is the role of past experiences. We all have a past. We all have experiences that we've been through. Some of them fantastic, some of them exciting, some of them very fulfilling, and some of them sad or tragic or traumatic. While past experiences do shape who we are, they do not determine our future. Okay? They don't determine who we're going to be. We get to decide that. You and I get to decide that as we move forward each day. And I've mentioned before, I'm in my 50s, and when you start to get to these ages, you start to realize things that are more important to you in life. And you start to, piece by piece, let go of the things that aren't as important or aren't as significant anymore. And this is a piece of the puzzle that is very, very important. We do have the power to change and redefine ourselves. That is a choice, a conscious choice, and a decision that only you get the right to make. So just sit with that for a moment. Just sit with that energy for a moment. Let that sink in, okay? I've done so much journaling on this. I've done studying, I've taken courses and classes and journaled because I was not always this confident person that I am today. I was not always self-assured. And it's okay if that's where you are. You want to project yourself to where you would like to be. And it's incremental change, step by step, sometimes baby steps that gets us there. The next aspect of this book, which I think was fundamentally very, very important, is inferiority complex. Everyone experiences at one point or another inferiority, those feelings of not being as good as or not being good enough, right? This feeling can drive us to improve, which is great because that's what adversity is intended for. It is intended to propel us forward, right? But it can also lead to unhealthy behaviors. That's where we need to become cognizant and pay attention to how it is or isn't controlling us. Because fear of inferiority can be a controlling factor. And when that happens, you really have to make this choice. Do I go down this road or do I go down that road? Confronting and accepting these feelings is very, very essential in order for us to move forward, especially doing so in a healthy way. We must practice acceptance. That was probably, it could have been one of the most difficult concepts for me, is practicing acceptance, because when I was in those places, feeling inferiority, feeling not good enough, feeling unheard, feeling invisible, I did many times go down the rabbit hole. I did go down the rabbit hole quite a few times until I learned a better way, better coping skills in which to move forward and feel good about myself and who I am as a human being. Look at myself in the mirror every day and reaffirm that I had value. Because you are your own best advocate. So when you affirm to yourself, that is, I'm going to give you just one tiny little tool to use that is very advantageous. If you get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say something positive to yourself and about yourself, that is a very powerful thing to do, because you are reaffirming self-acceptance and self-love. That is very important. We had something in coaching class it was a very powerful experience that we had to do. And at that time, we had partners that we worked with to get each module of our course completed. So they were our accountability partner. They were also our practice partner. And sometimes we switched partners, but I had one main partner through my entire 2 years of certifications for coaching. She was amazing. I absolutely loved her. Her name was Sammy. And she really helped me get through a lot of these little tasks that we had to complete. One of them was this mirror exercise where we would hold space for the other person if we were the coach, and if we were the client in the scenario, we would actually experience the exercise. The coach would talk us through the exercise. So this mirror exercise was, it was profound. We would hold the mirror in front of us, only about a foot away from our face, stare into the irises of our eyes, and we would repeat affirmations like, I love myself, I believe in myself, I accept myself. And there was a list of things that we would say in front of the mirror. And if we felt stuck on one or couldn't quite get the words out, if they got jumbled up, we had to repeat the phrase until it ran smooth. And there were certain phrases that elicited very strong emotional responses. I remember crying for some of them because they were just so powerful. And I had never personally thought to do this, to look myself so deeply into the eye that I felt as if I was looking through to my soul and repeating these phrases to myself. It was quite profound. It was quite profound. And we did this for each other and held space for each other as we got through all the emotions of doing it. But the gist of the story is confronting and accepting these feelings is essential in order to move forward. So if you are holding yourself back, if you are afraid, if you have a hard time looking in the mirror, hey, some people find it easy. Some people don't. It's okay no matter where you fall on the spectrum. I want you to know that you're okay. I'm reaffirming you are okay wherever you are, because this is a journey. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Self-improvement is a marathon. So I applaud you for your efforts. All right, back to our book, Courage to be Disliked. Social interest is next on the list of what are the core principles of the book, the core categories that it covers. Social interest. True fulfillment comes from contributing to society and also nurturing relationships. All the relationships in your life, not just your main relationship, your friendships, your work relationships, your parent-child relationships, whether it is your children or your parents. That was a big one for me as well. You know, when I was a kid, I thought parenting was so easy, and I could never understand when I felt that my parents made a mistake or that I was shortchanged in some way. I felt truly just so hurt and many times abandoned for whatever the thing was I was dealing with. I felt I was abandoned and left to deal with it alone. But that was really untrue. It was simply the fact that my parents were doing the best with the skills they had at the time. It was not a personal affront to me. So we know, again, true fulfillment comes from contributing to society and nurturing our relationships, building these meaningful connections and having a sense of belonging, right, is vital for a happy life. I have mentioned before, if you've watched any of my podcast episodes or other videos, you perhaps already are familiar. We have three as human beings, three absolute needs in order to feel okay: love, safety, and belonging. Period. We absolutely need those things. So that's one of the three things is belonging. And it is vital to have a happy, well-rounded life. It is vital. So we need that. We need to work on that continuously. And just remember, learning comes through adversity. So don't be discouraged when adversity is thrown in your path. It is a challenge, right? It is an opportunity. Try to think of it that way. Reframe those thoughts in your mind and stop for a minute, take a step back and tell yourself, this is an opportunity for me. And that will help to change your perspective and your feelings about it. And of course, one of the last topics of the book is courage to change. Absolutely. Change does require courage. It requires your bravery on many levels. Individuals must learn to take responsibility. So you and I must learn to take responsibility for our lives, our words, and our actions. No one else is responsible for those than us. You cannot say, well, they made me do it. They didn't make you do it. Your coping skills ended that way. Your coping skills pushed you to do it, but you can work on those coping skills and make it a lot easier for yourself. You have control over this. Even when you feel like you don't, you do. Take a step back, think about it before you just act. If you need to ask yourself a couple questions, ask them. No one ever got upset because it took an extra few minutes for you to answer or respond to them. They get upset when they don't like your response or they feel hurt or threatened by your response. If you can have a rational discussion instead, you're going to get a lot better results. Learn to embrace your vulnerability and your challenges. I know that might sound, to some people, that might sound, well, how could it possibly be that simple? But it is. Because this is our life. This is the one life we are given. Make the most of it. Every single day is the first day of the rest of your life. Take advantage of that time. Use it as wisely as you can, because you will never get today back. All right, living in the present. That is the next concept. Focus on the present moment. I say this very often because living in the present is also known as mindfulness. It is a mindfulness exercise. Being mindful is living in the moment. No matter what you're doing, you could be doing a meditation, you could be doing your homework, you could be doing your daily chores. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you can be in the present and focus on that rather than being trapped by the past, perhaps your regrets, or worrying about the future, which is being trapped by your anxieties. Anxiety is really worry. And it is worry about something that has not happened yet, has not come to fruition, or that you're unsure of what the outcome will be. But if you're focusing on the present and you have strategies to move forward, it takes a lot of that worry, anxiety, and regret away. And honestly, focusing your energy on regretting something that's happened in the past is really just a waste of your resources, because you can't change what has happened in the past, but you can affect what happens moving forward. And so this mindset, in effect, fosters a more fulfilling life. It really encourages it. It gives room for growth. That is wonderful. I tell you, I love this book, and I love the way it was written, because in a story version of this conversation between the two, it just makes you think in a different way, because they bring up a lot of topics that we may have had a black or white reaction to, and perhaps still have a black or white reaction to. But in the way that the material is presented, it creates many shades of gray, and it helps us to look at it from a completely different perspective. And that's, especially over 50, what we are looking for are new perspectives, new ways to look at things, to make them easier, more acceptable, more palatable. Okay? All right, so let's talk about the practical takeaways from the book. First and foremost, practicing self-reflection, regularly assessing your thoughts and behaviors to align with your true values in life. Now, if you are not sure, even now, even today, what your true values are, take a little time to think about it. Take a little time to make a list of what are the most important values to you. No one else can tell you what they are. Only you will have that feeling, and you will feel it from deep within you, what your true values are, right? Are you a person who cares so deeply about nature? Are you a person who cares about your common interests with other people? Are you a philanthropist? Are you a person who is in deep love with education and just wants to learn all you can learn in your lifetime? Right? It's a very personal, this list is a very personal thing, and you're entitled to it. So take that time and figure out what those very, very core values, true core values are for you. All right. Developing social connections. We already discussed a little bit about this. Fostering empathy and understanding is what happens when you develop these strong social connections. You will have more empathy for the other person or people. They will have more empathy and understanding for you and who you are. This enhances the sense of relationship, the sense of commitment to your different relationships, to your community, right? And that is just so fulfilling. It is deeply fulfilling to have that sense. See, this is my community. All of you are my community. You are people I care deeply for. I don't have to actually know you, but we share common interests. We share common thoughts because you're here. And that's how I know we share these common thoughts, right? And so you're important to me. And I want to bring you as much value as I can bring you in the time that we are together. That is one of my motivating factors in life, is to bring value to you. All right, next is embracing discomfort. This can be a very difficult thing for a lot of people. They may not even understand the concept of it, but I'm going to explain it to you. Embracing discomfort means not that you enjoy it. I'm not trying to suggest that. It means that you understand it and you accept that discomfort is part of life. It is part of learning. It is part of growing. Think of it even from the first days of your life. We had to accept a certain amount of discomfort and how it was soothed, right? We started out as a baby. We had discomfort for every function of our body. If we were hungry, if we had to eliminate waste, we were thirsty. if we were sad and wanted to be comforted or held. These were all things, that discomforts that we had to embrace, and we had to embrace whatever the solution would be. Typically in those days, it was our parents or our caregivers who comforted us, right? So they gave us the comfort to soothe our discomfort. As we grow, that changes each stage of life. It changes and ups a little bit, right? So understanding how to be your true self may lead to discomfort. Okay? We may be uncomfortable in this process of growing, but it is essential for our growth, but also for our authenticity, for us to be true to who we really are as a person, as a soul, right? Mind, body, spirit. We are a whole. We are not just one. We are a whole of the different parts. That's important. Always remember that. Challenging our inner critic. That is something that is a very important concept as well. Learn to quiet your negative self-talk and cultivate that much more positive self-image. Feeling love for the self. Taking actions that are loving toward the self. Challenge that inner critic when you have those thoughts or feelings come up. I don't deserve this. It's not important for me to put myself first. Any thoughts like this that come up need to be challenged. And perhaps it's just taking a step back and asking yourself, is that really true? If I'm being honest, is that really true? Or is it just something I learned or picked up along the way that isn't really true? Because I can tell you, if you feel you don't deserve it or you're not enough, it's not true. So that needs some exploration and some work. I know this because I went through it myself. So it's a beautiful thing. These are all of the concepts, strategies, thoughts that are in this book. I strongly recommend it to you. The book ultimately empowers us to live courageously and also to live authentically. And that's the way we should be doing it anyway. So it's just a great tool to push us in the right direction. I love tools like this. You know, we can do a lot of work on our own, but we also need tools, a support system, and mentors, friends, loved ones to help us along the way. Give us a little leg up sometimes. Support. It's okay. And tools like books are great support. You can do an audiobook or you can do the real book. I prefer real books, but audiobooks work very well too, especially if you have a long commute. Why not? You can fill it with something very empowering. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to learn. So when we are living courageously, when we are living authentically, this leads to deeper satisfaction and much more fulfilling connections in our life. Something to really strive for, something to look forward to, and something to appreciate in those that you have already. Take a moment to appreciate those. I'm deeply appreciative myself for you and for all the people in my life and the opportunities that I'm presented with. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for your attention. If you've enjoyed this talk, please subscribe, like, and share it. You never know who else could benefit from what you've experienced. Even if it's just expanded you a little bit, any expansion is so worthwhile. And I applaud you for it. All right. Thank you for joining. And until next time, namaste.
You have been watching Mile First, the podcast with Linda Matthews. Tune in each week as Linda will remove the blinders that keep you stuck and unable to reach that feeling of joy in all areas of your life experience. The road to stress-free living is one step at a time. Download the Mile First app free today.